चिन्तय मा कन्दमूलकन्दम् चिन्तय मा कन्दमूलकन्दम् चिन्तय मा कन्दमूलकन्दम् चेदशि सोमस्कन्दम् Let us begin with Kanchipuram, the legendary city of 1,000 temples, often called the Varanasi of the south. This sacred city is home to some of the most revered temples in South India. Among them, the Ekamranadar temple is one of the grandest. Here Lord Shiva is worshipped as Ekamreshwarar in the form of a sand lingam under the shade of a unique ancient mango tree. The story goes that goddess Parvati, known here as Elavar Kudali, shaped a lingam out of sand and worshipped it under this very tree. When the nearby Vegavati river threatened to wash it away, she embraced the lingam to protect it at the risk of her life. Moved by her love, Shiva appeared before her and married her. To this day, the sand lingam is preserved with jasmine oil. The symbolic meaning of a sand lingam is that one does not need an idol or a sculpture to worship God. Only a fistful of sand can carry boundless devotion. The sacred mango tree here is said to be over 3,500 years old, and it still bears 4 different varieties of mango, symbolizing the 4 Vedas. Ekamreshanayike Shive Ekamreshanayike Shive Ekamreshanayike Shive Shri Kamakshi Pahi Pahi Mame Shanayike Shive Shri Kamakshi Pahi Pahi Mam Ekamreshanayike Shive. Another jewel of Kanchipuram is the Kamakshi Amman temple, one of the great Shakti Pitas. Here the goddess was worshipped by Adi Shankaracharya himself. Shankaracharya founded the Kamakodi Peedam, which is a Hindu religious center of Vedic learning. Among the spiritual giants of Kanchi was the sage Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swami, revered as an Avatara Purusha. The Varadaraja Perumal temple, also called Atti Varadar, is another Divya Desam and a major Vaishnavite center. It was once home to the philosopher saint Ramanuja. Kanchipuram is not only about the temples, it is also famed for its silk, with over 5,000 families preserving this craft. The silks are renowned for their rich gold borders and intricate zari work woven in the traditional korvai technique. To this day, Kanchipuram silk is regarded as the queen of silks all over the world. Jambhopate Mapa Ai Nijananda Amrita Bodham Dehi Jambho ma pa ai nijananda amrita bodam de Jambhu Now, let us move to the sacred Jambukeshwarar temple, the shrine that represents the element of water among the Panchabootha Sthalams. Here, Lord Shiva is worshipped as Appulingam, the water lingam. A natural spring constantly surrounds the lingam, and to this day the water has never dried. Shiva is known here as Jambukeshwara. There are some beautiful stories connected to this temple. In one story, Parvati, in the form of Akhilandeshwari, came to the Jambu forest, created a lingam out of water for her worship. Even today, during the midday ritual, the priest dresses in a sari and offers prayers to Shiva, symbolizing the goddess's devotion. This temple is a Upadesha Sthalam, where Shiva and Parvati assume a guru-disciple relationship. In many schools of Hindu and Buddhist philosophy, water is an iconic symbol of the boundless flowing nature of wisdom. This water lingam is thus a representation of wisdom and learning. The next story is about two Shiva Ganas who were cursed to be born as an elephant and a spider. Both worshipped Shiva in the Jambukeshwara Sthalam. The elephant brought water from the Kaveri river to bathe the lingam, while the spider spun a web to protect it from falling leaves and harsh sunlight. Both of them clashed heads in their devotion. The elephant would tear the web while cleaning the lingam. The spider would spin it again. This practice continued daily. One day, the spider became so angry it fatally bit the elephant's trunk, and eventually both died in the struggle. Lord Shiva, moved by their deep devotion, relieved them from their curse. Because an elephant worshipped Shiva here, the place is so popularly called the Tiruanaikka, the holy elephant forest. As for the spider, the story doesn't end there. The spider was reborn as King Kochingot Chola. In that life, he built 70 temples, including this one. And remembering his old rivalry with the elephant, he designed the sanctum so narrow that even a small elephant could not enter. Srikalahastisha Shritajanavan Samirashi Kalahastisha Shritajanavan Samirashi Kalahastisha Shritajanavan Samirashi Kalahastisha Shritajanavan Samira Karama Bahirajamule Samira Karama Bahirajamule Samira Karama Bahirajamule.
Let us visit Sri Kalahasti temple, known across the land as the temple of the air element. Here Lord Shiva is manifested in the form of a dazzling white lingam, the Karpura Linga. Inside the sanctum, where no window lets in a breeze, A flame flickers restlessly as though stirred by a restless wind. Many who stand there feel a cool breath on their skin, a mysterious reminder that Shiva is present as air, the unseen, gentle force that sustains life. Thousands of devotees come here to perform the Rahu Ketu Puja, a prayer to the shadow planets affecting one's horoscope. For generations, devotees have found hope here, believing that the wind carries away their sorrows. But why is this temple called Sri Kalahasti? This again is told by the tale of a spider, a serpent, and an elephant who worshipped the Shivalingam. The spider wove strong webs to protect it from dust and rain. The snake placed precious gems at its feet, and the elephant bathed the stone daily with water and lotuses. Lord Shiva was so moved by their devotion that he granted them liberation and took the name Sri Kalahastishvara, the Lord of the spider Shri, the serpent Kala, and the elephant Hasti. His consort is Jnana Prasunambika. But the story that truly defines Sri Kalahasti is that of a simple hunter Kannappa. Kannappa, born as Tinnan, lived in the forest. One day while hunting, he came upon the lingam of Shiva. Something stirred within him. He began worshipping Shiva in his own way, bringing meat from his hunts, washing the lingam with water carried in his mouth, and offering all he had with love. Then came the day of the great test. During his daily prayer, blood suddenly began to pour out from one of Lingam's eyes. Horrified, Kannappa rushed to help. Without hesitation, he plucked out his own eye and pressed it onto the bleeding lingam, stopping the flow. Soon the other eye began to bleed. Kannappa did not falter. He placed his foot on the lingam to mark the spot and prepared to pluck out his remaining eye. At that very moment, Lord Shiva himself appeared before him. Overwhelmed by the hunter's love, the Lord embraced him and restored both his eyes. From then on, Tinnan was no longer just a hunter. He became Kannappa Nayanar, one of Shiva's greatest devotees, remembered for the ultimate sacrifice of love.
முன்பு செய்தவத்தி நீட்டம் முடிவுமில்ல இல்பமான முன்பு செய்தவத்தி நீட்டம் முடிவுமில்ல இன்பமான அன்பினை எடுத்து காட்ட அளவுமில்லா ஆர்வம் பொங்கி அன்பினை எடுத்து காட்ட அளவுமில்லா ஆர்வம் பொங்கி. அருணாச்சலநாதம் ஸ்மராமி அருணாச்சலநாதம் ஸ்மராமி அனிஷமபீதகுஜாம்ப சமேதம் அருணாச்சலநாதம் ஸ்மராமி அனிஷமபீதகுஜாம்ப சமேதம் அருணாச்சலநாதம்.
Now let's travel to Tiruvannamalai, the sacred Arunachaleshwar temple representing the element of fire. Here, Lord Shiva is worshipped as Annamalayar and his consort is Unnamulai Ammai. But it is the Arunachala hill, the still red mountain, that is revered as Shiva's very form. The story surrounding the temple is that one day Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu argued about who was greater. To settle the dispute, Shiva appeared as an endless pillar of fire.
Ariyayanum kana ariya jyoti Ariyayanum kana ariya jyoti Adiyal tamilla padamanadi Puramerita mukkan தொழும்பேயல்தல் புறமெரித்த மூக்கண் தொழும்பேயல்தல் புண்ணியமூர்த்தி சுப்பிரமணியல்தல் தயே புண்ணியமூர்த்தி சுப்பிரமணியல் தல்தயே பரா பரமேஸ்வரா பரதிபதே ஹரபசுபதே பராத்பரா.
Vishnu became a boar and went deep down to find the base. He could not. Brahma became a swan and flew upward, but he too could not find the top. Yet, out of pride, Brahma lied. He said he had reached it and even brought a talampu flower as a false proof. Shiva, angered by the lie, cut off Brahma's fifth head and declared that no temple would ever be built solely for him and that the talampu flower would never be used for his worship. Vishnu, on the other hand, accepted defeat and bowed to Shiva as the infinite truth. To bless humanity, Shiva then took the form of Arunachala hill, the fiery lingam we see even today. This is the sacred form called Lingodbhava, the one with no beginning and no end. Every year in November-December, the grand Kartigai Deepam festival is celebrated. On the night of the full moon, a giant flame is lit atop the Arunachala hill. The flame can be seen for miles around. It represents Shiva's fire joining the sky. Every full moon, devotees perform Girivalam, a 14-kilometer walk around the hill. People believe this holy walk fulfills wishes and even frees one from the cycle of birth and death. The fire form of Shiva, as described in Shiva Purana, symbolizes the transformative energy of Shiva, an element with the power to destroy, purify, and renew life. Two great saints are closely linked to Arunachala. First, Arunagiri Nadar, a 15th century poet saint who composed the famous Tirupugal hymns on Muruga. In more recent times, we witnessed Sri Ramana Maharishi, who lived at Arunachala and taught the simple yet profound path of asking the question, "Who am I?" He said the ego is an illusion and that silence itself is the greatest teaching. His ashram at the base of Arunachala remains a place of peace and meditation where thousands still come to seek his presence.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Panini sadaka januta sanini jham tarita samagama pani ma magata ganataka magamama pasanini tajam dari pa magata digida to panini sataka januta sanini jam tarita samagama pa ni magata ganataka magamama pasanini tajam tari ba magata dingina to tajam tari ba magata dingina to tajam tari ba magata dingina to mananda natana prakasham chitsabesham ashrayami shiva kama Vallisham. We now come to Chidambaram, representing the element of ether or sky. Shiva is worshipped in three ways: as the cosmic dancer Nataraja, the visible form; as the crystal lingam of Chandramauleshwara, the formless form; and the Chidambara Rahasya, the formless divine. The very name Chidambaram means Chit or consciousness and Ambram or sky. The Golden Hall or the Kanaka Sabai enshrines Lord Nataraja with Devi Shivagama Sundari by his side, while the sages Patanjali and Vyagarpada stand as eternal witnesses. The legends of this temple take us to the Thillai forest. When the sages there grew arrogant, they tried to overpower Shiva with mantras. But Shiva transformed every attack into grace. Serpents became ornaments. The tiger skin became his shawl, and he even subdued a raging elephant. At last he crushed the demon of arrogance, Muyalagan, under his feet, and revealed himself in the Ananda Tandava, the dance of bliss. Fittingly, the towers of this temple are adorned with 108 dance poses from Bharata's Natya Shastra. Perhaps the most symbolic feature in the temple is the Chidambara Rahasya. A curtain is drawn up, revealing an empty space, symbolizing the formless, boundless nature of God. Those who are privileged to visit may spot a few golden bilva leaves, signifying mere glimpses of the divine. Chidambaranatha Desikana Balavana Natampuri Devadi Devam Chidambaranatha Tirpuvilvarano Inai Satre Tirumbi Parano Natarajan Tirpuvilvarano. The temple itself is a masterpiece of symbolism. The golden roof is covered with 21,600 gold sheets, representing every breath we take in a day, and 72,000 golden nails as human nerves. One of the biggest festivals in Chidambaram is the Arudra Darshan or the Tiruvadira, celebrated in the Tamil month of Margazhi. This festival is a celebration of the day that Shiva performed the Ananda Tandava, the dance of bliss. The Natyanjali is a very popular dance festival that happens in Chidambaram during the Margazhi season. Every year, thousands of dancers come to Chidambaram to perform their chosen traditional art form, Bharatanatyam, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, and many more in front of eager audiences, but more importantly, to pay their respects to the cosmic dancer Lord Nataraja. The temple is also rich with stories of devotion. One tale recalls the dance competition between Shiva and Parvati. When Shiva raised his leg in the Urdhva Thandava pose, Parvati conceded defeat. Another legend is the story of Nandanar, a humble devotee of Shiva who was banished from entering the temple owing to his so-called lower caste. Overcoming many trials, he finally reached the temple but was denied entry into the sanctum. As he prayed outside, the large statue of Nandi, or Shiva's bull, miraculously shifted to give him a view of the deity. And thus he was purified by the divine fire and finally merged with Nataraja.
Having travelled through the 5 elemental temples, let us briefly explore some other popular celebrations of Shiva as observed in our culture today. Pradosham. Pradosham is a sacred time of worship dedicated to Lord Shiva. It occurs on Trayodashi, the 13th day of the lunar fortnight, during the twilight period about 1.5 hours before and after sunset. This time is considered very powerful because it marks the moment when Lord Shiva drank the deadly poison that emerged during the churning of the ocean. By holding the poison in his throat to save the universe, Shiva earned the name Neelakantha. On Pradosham, prayers offered to Shiva, Parvati and Nandi are considered highly auspicious and are said to fulfill sincere wishes. Annabhishekam. Annabhishekam is a unique festival dedicated to Lord Shiva as a thanksgiving ritual to honor him as the source of the 5 elements that sustain life and agriculture. After the harvest, devotees cook fresh batches of rice and offer it to the Shivalingam, covering it with rice, fruit and vegetables. This symbolizes Shiva as Annapuranishwarar, the divine provider of food and nourishment to all beings. This is celebrated on the full moon day of the Tamil month of Aipasi, October-November. Mahashivaratri. Mahashivaratri, observed annually in February-March, is one of the most important, most celebrated nights of worship for Lord Shiva. It is believed that on this night, the northern hemisphere tilts in a way that elevates spiritual energy within the human body. To align with this energy, devotees remain awake all night, symbolizing spiritual alertness. They chant mantras and meditate through the 4 columns, 4 periods of the night, during which sacred abhishekams, ritual bathing of the lingam, are performed.
இரு கண்ணிருக்கும் போது விண்ணுயர் கோபுரம் காண வேண்டாமோ இரு கண்ணிருக்கும் போது விண்ணுயர் கோபுரம் காண வேண்டாமோ சிதம்பர தளத்தை காண வேண்டாமோ தில்லை காண வேண்டாமோ சிவனை And so, as we come to the close of our journey through the Panchabootha Sthalams, we stand at the meeting point of the 5 great elements. Through each of the elements, Shiva reveals a different face of creation, showing us that he is the stillness of the earth, the endless flow of water, the purity of fire, the dance of the wind, and the vastness of space. Yet we must see the greater message. Shiva is both the divinity in every form of nature and the divine balance of the 5 elements. Shiva is the grace that rests quietly within every creation, within the entire universe, and within us. We would like to take a minute to offer our sincere gratitude to Mr. Ravi Varma for helping create these magnificent paintings, 3D lifelike models, and for his immaculate arts and crafts work. Ravi Varma has been our art director and trusted collaborator for the last 15 years and has helped bring every theme into life and color. We thank Sathya and Roopavathi for helping put the pieces together from scratch. It is with the help of our hard-working team that we are able to materialize each vision down to the last detail. Thank you so much for joining us on this trail and listening patiently until the very end. We hope to see you again next year. Until then, we humbly sign off. Yellam Shivamayame, Anbe Shivam.